Okay, so today I had the task of swapping these rear ends. So I've already cut off this bracket, which I'm definitely saving. So those are for the shocks. This one has the mounts for the shocks. So this is the 8 1/4. That's the 9 1/4. We're just gonna swap them out. What sucks here is looks like this one had the small brakes, and I'm definitely taking my big brakes. Plus I have all the stuff. So I gotta take these pans off on both of them and swap that back plate, but that's not really that big of a deal. Okay. Quick tip. If you're doing a brake job and you have brake dust everywhere, you're working inside or something like that, you don't have an air hose outside, the best thing to do is come in with a spray bottle and just get rid of all that dust from the air. Then you don't gotta breathe it, you can get a rag and just wipe it all down. Okay, so we're getting there. This oil looks pretty good, so I might just reuse it. Don't quite have any money, so we're getting there. Okay, so this is the easy part. This pin comes out, and this bolt comes out. And then the pin slides out. Oop, okay. And then you can push the axles in. Let's see. C-clip comes out. Okay, that's one. That's two. So the C-clips are out, and now we can pull this thing out. When you pull out an axle, you always want to inspect this area right here, especially if it kind of has the bearings riding right on the axle. If this is all chewed up or has a nice ridge on it, you should just replace the axle because it's going to be leaking all over the place. So the problem with these axles, in general anyway, is the C-clip goes in that little groove right there. I can't really see it. So that's where the C-clip goes, right in there. And what happens to these things is when they break, this whole top just pops right off. I actually have one over here on a stand I made. This is an old axle, and that one just popped right off. I think I welded it up afterwards. That's why it looks like that. But they pop, and then after that, your axle just goes flying. They're strong, they're good for the street, but when you start getting a lot of horsepower in your engine, you don't want these things. The track will make you go to a bolted in at the wheel style. So that's one good thing about the 8 3/4 is the 8 3/4 doesn't have this. It has only bolts on the end, and on the track, when you start going fast enough, it's a requirement and it's already done. As far as what I'm doing right now, all I'm doing is taking these out. Gonna unbolt this backing plate so I can have brakes on my new one. And everything's just gonna sit there in suspension. I'm not gonna really do any work, just 4 bolts, take it off, put the new axle in, it goes right on. Okay, so these are going back in. And then I'm gonna put this thing on Facebook Marketplace and someone's gonna get a good deal. So the C-clips here are pretty good design because when they go back in and you push the axle into its little spot, there's nowhere for it to go. So I think sometimes, I don't really know too well, but there's a Chevy axle that has these C-clips, and I think that they can actually fall out as you're driving. I don't really know Chevys too well. But this is a pretty good design because they're cupped in, and then when the rod goes back, they're in their spot, and they cannot fall out at all. Okay, I'll show you on this one. So I got the C-clip in right there. See it? My foot on the axle here and pull it in. See? It can't go anywhere. And then that rod goes right here and fills up the space. Okay, so that sucker's out. Next I got to put the new one in. bolt it up as much as I can, and then if I want to, I can replace just the back yoke of that driveline and drive it. But I got some parts on the way for that transmission, so I might just do it all at once and have it be done. Okay, I ran into my first big problem. So these leaf spring mounts right here are wrong in two ways. They're kind of, it makes the pinion shaft a funny angle, so it's off that way, and also it needs to go over just like a half of an inch, both of them. So I'm taking them off, and I think I can reuse them. They look pretty good. Just weld them up. All right, so I got them all welded up. They look pretty good. I just kind of put them at the same angle as the pinion, which how the other one was, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. There's that one. I think one of them might have moved around a little bit when I welded it up, but it's like just marginal. It's very, very small. So it's going back in. All right, so that angle will work. That's much better. Before it was pointing way up. And this time around, kind of just by eye, I placed these things and they slipped right on. So before I had to use this the power deal to get it to fit. Well, all right, it's pretty much back together. I'm gonna finish the brakes up, and I'm gonna leave this for now. Come back to it because I don't have a gasket. I don't have anything for it. But it's back in. It seems to be adjusted fine. And it is certainly a much smaller rear end than that 9 1/4. So I have no doubt I'm gonna save some gas money, and it'll be easier to drive this thing around. So yeah, I got some parts coming in the mail, so I will just get back to you on the rest of this project, and I'll give you this for now. But tune in later to see the whole thing. Alrighty, have a good day. Okay, before I leave, just one more thing. So I was looking this over, and I was kind of worried about my angle because I kind of just put those mounts on, you know, I eyeballed it and everything, but kind of just welded them up. But lucky for me, it pretty much points at the tail shaft of the transmission. So it's at an angle, but the transmission's much higher than the rear end. And I have put weight on it to simulate full load. So I kind of lucked out on that one. It's somewhat back together right now. But I have two vehicles, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit here and get some parts and wait a few weeks till I have time again. Well, hopefully 1 week, and then I'll get back to you guys. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. This thing should be running in no time. All right, have a good one.